streaming and also via Skype. Each one of you is welcome to this live streaming from our studios in Trinidad. You are welcomed to from wherever you are connecting. The Sutras of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, the active energy body centers. The active energy body centers. As your level of understanding goes deeper and deeper, much deeper aspects of explanations can be made. The intricacies can be explained because now you are capable of doing that. There are 114 centers in body. These are energy centers known as psychic centers or chakras. They are circular form. Earlier, when your cognition was different, it was told there are 7 centers. In reality, there are 114 centers in the body. These centers, these are the centers where nadi or the nerve system or the energy meridian meet or intersect one another. The shape of these passages is always triangular. Wheel is a circular form and shape. These centers are always in triangular form, but we call these as circles or wheel or chakra. Whenever we see them, these appears circular because these disperse a certain kind of energy, and each spread is always in a circular form. How can it be triangular in one way and circular? Its effect is circular. Shape is one thing and effect is another thing. You take a piece of stone, whether it is a triangular, hexagonal, octave, or whatever shape of the stone you take, and throw it in the tranquil waters of a lake or a river, the waves arise. The waves are always circular, they are coming to the center. They are not like a horizontal straight line. You throw a stone of any shape in the water, the waves arise in circular form always. So the waves that are arising, that is the effect. And the stone that is thrown is in any shape or form. Also, it shows movement or dynamism from one center to another. It is a wheel because it takes you across to the next shore. In the inner energy system, there are 114 such centers. These are major. Still, there are more. These are main centers on which work need to be done and can be done. Out of these 114, 2 lies outside the physical body and 112 are within the body. Out of these 112, 4 are such that nothing much has to be done to these. You work on 108 centers. therefore comes to you as a bonus. These come as bonus. Energy system is not needed to work on these four centers. Thus there remains 108 centers on which work can be done. So these 114 centers are of dhyan or meditation. Now coming to Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, Shiva gave 112 different methods for meditation. Tantra means beyond the body. So it is the scientific way to go beyond the body. Scientific way how to go beyond the body. Once Shiva was explaining these systems to 7 sages who were the inner circle, who were given the responsibility of carrying on the work in the cosmos. Like for instance, there are people who are in the inner circle, they are given the responsibility of editing, writing, and others are in a different range. So these 7 sages Shiva was working with them, explaining them the intricacies of yoga and the meditation systems. These form the subject matter of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, the scientific method to go beyond the body mechanism. 112 methods to attain to one's awakened state or nature. Atmagyan, self-awareness. Parvati, his wife, was watching this explanation without any problem. She has already attained to awakening. Now she was witnessing the entire process, how Shiva was explaining to these 7 sages the intricacies of the system. Suddenly she inquired, when Shiva said there are only 112 techniques, nothing beyond that. Parvati inquired, why only 112, not any more? There should be more methods. Shiva was totally absorbed in his explanation to these sages, said no more than 112 methods. Parvati felt insulted that Shiva told her this in front of these 7 sages. This happens if you tell your wife you are explaining something very important to someone and your wife interferes, so you just try to pacify her, say nothing more. So she did not like Shiva negating her, so she said, probably you do not know about the system. This is the normal situation of the wife. They always feel husband know nothing. So she said, probably you do not know about more systems. There has to be more methods. Shiva again asserted emphatically, only 112 methods and no more. This is indecency and you may go. I am explaining something. Being a wife does not mean you have extra privileges. You have to follow the discipline. Parvati left saying that she will search more methods for self-awareness. Saying this, she left to go into the mountains on deeper search. She underwent austerity for several years and then one day returned. Shiva was still explaining the methods. Still explaining the methods to those sages. When she returned and was unsuccessful being his wife, she could have sit next to him at the same level. But she did not want the sages to know that she has failed. So she sat one step below Shiva because she wanted Shiva to know that she has failed. He has told her there are only 112 techniques, but arrogantly she said there got to be more methods and you know not. So I have to find out myself. She did not want the sages to know that she had failed in her effort of finding more methods. This story goes into several ways, and she included and how she included her in the process. Her presence indicates a person who has entered doubt in his mind. Shiva is continuing with such tremendous energy that these sages are in a state of deja vu. How this could have happened? In that commune, Parvati represents a person who is not interested in learning anything, instead, as a person who constantly raises doubts. I am talking, there are persons who raise questions, doubts through their posts, through their comments. When an awakened one will be explaining these methods, the people may not be so deeply interested. Remember that. This is my experience. As I continue to explain each method in so much detail, doubts and lack of interest is observed in the people. Someone has asked in the initial place that the person want to know my explanation on these sutras. When the talks began, the interest is not seen as much. Dedication is not there. Doubts and lack of interest is observed. Rarely someone seems to be interesting. During the time Shiva was explaining, only 7 were seriously interested in. During these talks, you have to introspect how deeply interested and serious you are in learning. And now I cannot say this even this number. I will be happy if even a single person is sincere in learning the intricacies of these methods. Parvati represents those who lack discrimination, raise doubts, and lack interest. Therefore, these 108 are those things with which we can work for self-awareness. The remaining 4 just blossoms on their own. Once these 108 methods or centers are open or have been worked upon, 4 will happen as a bonus, and the remaining 2 that lie outside the physical body. These 2 are not within the physical body. This number 108 is very important system. As a result, has found its specific significance. 108 totals to 9. 9 is the perfect mathematical number. It is important in the entire solar system, cosmos and its structure. Hindus use the rosary that has 108 beads. So 108 is a very important number. It forms the edifice of the solar system. Do you know the distance between the earth and the sun is 108 times of the diameter of the sun? The distance between the earth and the sun is 108 times of the diameter of the sun. So too the distance between moon and the earth is 108 times of the diameter of the moon. How significant this number is. You will find that 108 is the ratio in the entire structure of the cosmic existence and the solar system. This is the reason this 108 number is so significant. Yoga explains that human body had acquired this shape simply because the Saur Mandal, the solar system, is like this. Human body is the expression of this solar system or cosmos. Shiva has clearly explained that if human body has to develop further, then certain serious changes are inevitable in the structure of the cosmos and the solar system. With that change, alone human structure will attain to new form. This has already evolved at the level of the physical structure. That is why there is semblance between the human structure. There are you have to work on 108 centers. When you work, 4 comes as a bonus, and the remaining 2 out of 114 which lie outside the human body. When all the 112 centers are open or you have worked on them, then transmission is very easy. As such, before the awakened one has to begin this transmission, he has to sort out many things. To live a normal physical life, a healthy physical life, a balanced physical life, only 21 centers or methods are enough. Once these 21 centers are operating, no one will find and think anything lacking in you. You will be a complete man once other centers open. With that enormous avenues for awakening open in the human. When you go beyond that suddenly opens such avenues of awakening that you will find this miraculous or mysterious. This is so because a new avenue of awakening is now open. You can understand things without much effort. In the beginning, it was difficult for you to understand what I am speaking. But as time goes on, more and more centers are open in you. It becomes easy for you to understand without much effort. Only 21 are needed for a normal human life. The remaining others are for deeper awakening. Like you have done the basic graduation, that is enough to be a human being. But if you want to go deeper into, you have to go into post-graduation, then you have to go into the research and something more. Let me take the example of a practical example of a coconut. Coconut grows in a certain climatic and soil conditions. In southern part of India, the eastern side, Tamil Nadu, nearly 90 coconuts grow each year on a tree, on a single tree. A specifically developed tree can bear up to between 120 to 125 coconuts in a year. This same tree, coconut tree, bears 45 to 50 coconuts in Kerala. While in West Bengal and certain areas of Karnataka, the same tree bears between 240 to 250 coconuts in a year. Why it is so? The difference is of forming. What kind of soil is needed? In Tamil Nadu, a black soil is used which is suitable for rice, cotton, and other crops. When it is watered, it remains moist, and when it dries, the upper surface gets the cracks. So when it is moist, the roots of coconut spread itself. The moment the surface dries up, the roots shrink. As a result, they bear less coconuts. As compared to that, specifically for the forming of coconut, which does not grow from the seed, a fruit is put, it gets the water and air and sunlight. Out of the fruit itself, the tree begins to blossom. That is why it is considered to be a divine fruit, along with banana. Banana is another fruit that does not grow from the seed. The tree is there. By the side of the tree, other small trees begin to sprout, and a new tree is formed. So these two fruits are considered to be divine fruits because they do not grow out of seeds. So the best soil for the forming of coconut is the soil that has small pebbles, stones. A black soil expands when it is watered. It helps coconut to spread its roots. The moment the water dries, it forms the cracks, roots shrink. Something like that happens with the human beings. The growth of the tree is hampered. For coconut, the soil that is needed to be somewhat stony. You can experiment. You can take a piece of stone, place it about 1 feet below the ground, and water it. And 2 weeks after watering it, you will find a certain part of the surface is dried up. But when you dig and you remove the stone, you will find the moisture there. But the surface below the stone will have moisture. When coconut tree is planted in such a soil, its roots get moisture and bear more fruits. Something like this happens with man. Man will not blossom to its full potentiality until you create the right environment, either inner or outer. Preferably, the inner environment is important because we are not fixed, we are not stable or stationary like a tree. Man moves from one environment to another always. You are listening to this live streaming, you are in a particular environment, within a controlled environment which is controlled by the energy field that spreads out of my presence. Then you go to your work. You have not created your environment there. You go at home, you have not created the environment there. So it happens. This process is known as regional sannyas. The Hindi word is kshetra sannyas. The person lives within the energy field of the master, in the commune, in the ashram, or anywhere, does not go beyond that, does not go outside that. So in that place, everything is moving within the energy field of that awakened one. The kitchen, everything is happening within that energy field. So you find a congenial environment to grow. In the beginning, this is very important. And once all other centers are open in you, then you will carry that environment wherever you go. This means an environment or area is fixed within which the energy field is very strong. So when you come here, or you are reading something that I have written, or listening to what I have said, you find the energy field is very strong. That is why the significance of individual meditations and meditation sessions are important. So at least every day you are imbibing that energy field, that remaining within that energy field, and then you create an environment around with you. I had mentioned it to you, there is a friend who almost in 1994, he heard there was somebody in the family, or the family friend has passed away. So there was every day the meditation sessions in which I was speaking. So he used to come to attend those. In that I had said one sentence: look at the wall, there is nothing higher, nothing lower. The lower and higher are the ways for the practical applicability. Wall knows nothing like higher or lower. This sentence appealed to him. This he carries with him wherever he goes. He may be carrying it unknowingly to impress others, but he is carrying to some extent this environment, this sentence that creates an environment around him, because these words have evolved out of an awakened state of awareness. He carries it. So what happens there? Through the individual meditation sessions, you remain for a certain period of time within that energy field, and slowly, the moment you develop intimacy, you develop love, your understanding comes, and this becomes your environment that you carry wherever you go. You are talking to someone, you remember a word or a sentence from the awakened one, you explain to that. Someone asks you, you say immediately, go to this person. He will explain to you more. I can simply connect you to that person. Like the energy field of the master. Once through your love or intimacy of any kind, you are within the energy field of the awakened one, and you have made a resolution that you will not go out of this environment, or you will not allow any other energy field to influence you to trespass the energy field you are in. You may meet someone, you may trespass, the influence may trespass. This is like a planned cultivation. When you move to a mountain, wind speed becomes unmanageable. Normal speed of the wind is a certain. When there is strong winds are there, you may be swept away with that wind. So too, to continue your inner state in another environment does not remain the same. Such is the situation of most of the people until, like, your immune system is weak. Anytime you go in an environment where there is dust, you start sniffing, or something gets activated, or you go in an environment, you start drinking and things like these. For a human to create a beneficial environment is difficult on its own, and to remain in that environment always is even more difficult. On a day-to-day basis, you have to interact with so many people that your inner state does not remain always same. For this, certain people follow this type of sannyas, that they live within, or to some extent they enter into meditation sessions on a daily basis, individual. So they remain to some extent, and slowly they create an inner environment within them. For transformation, inner environment is very essential. Certainly you cannot create and maintain that on your own. Then you have to create situations through meditation sessions, etc., that you are within that environment always. Such a person creates an armor around him to protect him from outer influences. When this is strong, like you continue to take to build up your immunity, when your immune system is strong enough, small viruses and so will not affect you. So spiritually, through the love and understanding, you build up your immune system. It is like this: you are traveling in a plane. You are at an altitude of 35 to 40,000 feet. At that level, if you are not within the spacecraft, can you survive? Certainly not. At that altitude, you cannot survive without a controlled environment within the plane. So within the plane, the pressure, the oxygen level is maintained. And it is said, whenever there is a drop in the pressure or oxygen level, suddenly the mask faces will come out, and you are given a demonstration. You cannot survive at that altitude without a specific preparation. When you are traveling in an aircraft, within the cabin, an environment is maintained. The pressure, the oxygen level, and you do not float. The vacuum is not there. Within the cabin, an environment is maintained, their pressure and oxygen level is maintained, and you remain comfortable at that altitude of 35 to 40,000 feet. And when you are climbing the mountain, you are not within the controlled environment. You have to carry with you the oxygen cylinder as you're climbing up higher, because the level of oxygen will be low, less. So too, when you are going in a submarine, Deep within the ocean, womb of the ocean, the pressure is different, the oxygen level is different. But within the submarine, a certain environment, a certain controlled temperature, the oxygen level, the pressure is maintained and you are comfortable. If you are diving, you have to carry on your back, you have to carry your special goggles, your breathing instrument, you have to carry the oxygen cylinder. But when you are in submarine, you are also deep within, but we are within a controlled environment. You don't need any of these things on your own. So too, an awakened one creates an energy field around him and lives and float within that controlled environment. You carry this environment wherever you go. You carry your energy chamber with you as an armor. So whenever I go, wherever I go, people will not talk to me anything other than normal, other than what I am, what I represent. If it is a business, then it's a different matter, but they will not engage in loose talks with me, because the radiation of that energy field will keep them not to ask those kind of stupid questions. When all centers are active, very easily you can transmit whatever you want to another person. To a primary school student, you cannot say anything to explain anything about a spacecraft. You cannot explain to a 5-year-old child how children are born, because the level of understanding is different. As the child grows, the level of understanding transforms, and then the deeper things can be explained. As a result, in the beginning, I had told you there are 7 centers. But as your understanding deepens, more things can be explained to you. When all centers are active, very easily you can transmit whatever you want to another person. But the problem remains of your capability for receiving. The one problem is this: how serious and sincere you are in listening to these talks. Ever since I made a commitment and told someone that I will explain these, I have not failed. Day after day I have been explaining more and more details, but are you sincere in attending to these sessions on a regular basis? No, you are not. But the problem remains with your capability for receiving. I may have a very efficient system, and recently somebody had made the system more efficient, the sound and the quality, or at a high speed system to upload the message. The uploading speed is high. But if your downloading speed is very slow or low, you will not be able to receive this message. Can you? If your system is not suitable enough, would my high speed of transmission will make a difference to you? No. If your downloading speed is very slow, you will not be able to receive the message in the first place. And even if you have received it, you will not be able to decode the message in an understandable manner. An awakened one communicates with those whom he has never met even before. Most of the people who are connected with me were being nourished and nurtured when they did not know or met me. It is like the seed is growing below the surface of the earth. Nobody knows that the seed is planted here or the seed is growing. Then all of a sudden, when the seed sprouts, burst opens its outer shell, it breaks the surface of the earth, comes out, only then someone knows. And when the seed has sprouted, and it is necessary for you to be within my energy field, suddenly you get in touch with me somehow. Sufis say masters appear the moment disciple is ready. What does it mean? How the disciple is getting ready. Disciple is getting ready in a mysterious way. He is being taken care of so that he does not deviate from the path. The moment you need to be close to me, I will enter your life, not before that. As a result, those who have never met me are being nourished by me, then who are near me. Parvati was near his wife, but she has raised doubts about the capability of Shiva. She said there got to be more methods than 112. Shiva hushed her, do not disturb. When there was no other choice, he had to tell her, you go, do not disturb. She felt insulted. So those who are connected closely, physically, their situation is like that. Sometimes, somewhere, someone is meditative. Whether you are connected with me or not, what does it mean? It means somewhere your Wi-Fi is on and you have a receiving system and you see, oh, look, so out of anxiety, curiosity, you listen to the person and somehow the talk appeals to you. Oh, this man talks really nice. Let me find out who he is. So what happens sometimes, somewhere, someone is meditative in a particular moment. His receiving channel or download speed is high at that moment. He receives the message and is being nourished constantly. The energy field or tawajjuh continuously flows. If you are open, you will receive and decode the method. Also, you will feel that this message is for me. The experience and realization of such person will be different because they have been initiated differently. I can hand over what I have. Once you have the capacity to accept, absorb, and allow it to grow. I was transmitted and communed all this that I am explaining to you in coded form when I was only 8 months old. One had to work hard to create the capacity to receive. What will happen if I go on transmitting, live streaming week after week, and if no one is ready or finds time at least to listen to the live streaming? But I have been continuing it for someone who has yet to come. Bodhidharma stayed facing the wall for 9 years, 6th century AD, he went to China at the invitation of the king of the Wu dynasty. The king asked him the regular questions. Bodhidharma responded in his own unique way. And he said, if you don't like my ways and means, I will wait for the person for whom I have come to this country. He waited for 9 years facing the wall. Then one day, a man came. The man named Huining, he came. He said, Bodhidharma, turn your face towards me. Otherwise, I will cut my hands. Bodhidharma did not respond. Because cutting the hands symbolically means you are doing the social service that the king was doing. Then Bodhidharma did not turn, he did not say anything. Then he said, turn your face towards me, otherwise I will cut off my head. Bodhidharma turned the face immediately. Cutting the head means whatsoever is in your head, doubts, conditionings, your identity, all these things you are ready to sacrifice in order to be within the company of the awakened one, Bodhidharma. And Bodhidharma traveled to China for that. Quite often it is easier to transmit to these stones than human beings. Human beings have an advantage, they have a thinking capacity stones do not have. They are ready to receive. It is the doubt, it is the thought process. You think that what I am saying, this I agree, this I do not agree. When I am speaking on Guru Nanak, so those who are connected, concerned, find they are attracted to the ways of Nanak, they will listen. When I am speaking on Sufi path, the people who are connected with that or Islamic traditions, they listen to it. There you will find a rare person. It does not matter to him what I am speaking on. For him, the only thing is important that I am speaking. The person is listening to me and within my energy field. So this does not mean that I am praising these stones, because certain stones have necessary quality of absorbing the energy. Such stones become suitable for healing. They are used for healing process because they are condensed energy, very high level of energy. Stones do not have mind like man, so they do not separate them from others. Like man separates from the other. That I am Muslim, you are Hindu, he is Christian. Stones do not say anything. The problem with man is that through his thought process he had lost natural capability of acceptance and adaptability. He uses his logic, creates doubts. It is not that because of thought process and doubt man is losing his capability of bliss. Is it not so? You can be with this very moment absorbed in this blissful state, but because of your thought process, because of your doubt, you are losing the capability of bliss. As a child, did you use your thought process to be happy? You did not. As a child, you did not use your thought process to be happy and blissful. Man is losing much through his thought process. That was natural and spontaneous for him as a child. whatever you want to give, using their logic and thought process, they miss much. When you are within the energy field, much is and can be infused, and then within a short while, through your logic and thought process, you lose that. I may be explaining to you how Nanak had first experience of Satori. Nanak, it was a rainy night, thunder and lightning, the sound of the raindrops falling on the galvanized was breaking the silence, tap, 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 at a regular interval. The night was entering in the last quarter. The lamp from the room of Nanak was lit. His mother got worried. She came and gave a gentle knock on his door. Son, go to sleep now. The night is entering the last quarter. Same time, the sound of the bird that calls to its beloved moon, Papiha, came. Nanak said, Mother, are you hearing the sound of this bird? This bird is saying Pihu. Pihu means beloved. Pihu, Pihu. Its beloved is close by. Still, it is calling the mother, calling its beloved. I do not know how far away my beloved is, whether I will have a union with him or not. So when you are in love, there is no question of day and night, sleep or waking. You are simply lost in that. So some who are connected deeply with Nanak, they appreciate that. The next one says, he did not talk about Holy Prophet, he did not talk about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What kind of awakened one he is not interested in. And even some of the Gurdwara people, they only like the ritualistic, like a parrot go on repeating the Japji Sahib or Jap Sahib without understanding a single meaning. Jo tudh bhave sai bhalikar tu sada salamat nirankar. One can get lost into it, and that can become a method for your transformation. But like a parrot, they are ready to finish. Man has yet to learn to use his thought process creatively. Thoughts that can be used for transformation, but man has not yet learned that art yet. He has to go far in this direction. If you activate the possibility of the energy system to its fullest, if you activate the energy of your possibility of your energy system to its fullest, then it is easier to transmit that I want to transmit to you. My upload speed is very high. The system is efficient. If your downloading speed is good enough and you have the apps to decode the message that is coming in digital format, as I speak, it is analog format. My system transforms it from analog to digital. It travels in the digital format to your system. If you do not have the system, if you do not have the capability to decode this digital into analog, you will not be able to hear. In the same way, if your inner system is not capable of decoding and feeling the flow of energy that is radiating at this moment, you will not be able to transform. If you activate the possibility of your energy system to its fullest, then it is easy to transmit that I want to transmit to you. I am ready this moment to share and transmit my total presence to you. But I have to hold back because you are not yet ready. If the 21 centers methods I told you were necessary for you to be a normal human being, a balanced human being, if 63 centers are active, or you have worked on 63 sutras of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, then you can transmit very powerfully. Very powerfully. This is based on ancient Tamil culture. The energy field, if you have that system, if you have a downloading speed, you can simultaneously hear as I am speaking. This is based on ancient Tamil culture. Such a person cannot only sow the seeds of awakening, instead, he can speed up the process of transformation as well. And when 84 centers are active, you have crossed many boundaries that are considered beyond human cognition. 84 centers of Vigyan, sutras of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra that Shiva has explained. If you have reached 108, which is a mystical number totaling to 9, the entire cosmos, the solar system, is bound by this number 108. I had mentioned to you the distance between Sun and Earth. Sun and Earth is 108 times of the diameter of the Sun. Why 108? The distance between the existence follows, the solar system follows this number 108 because it has evolved in that, along that line. The distance between Moon and Earth is 108 times of the diameter of the Moon. You can check yourself. If you have reached 108, means you have attained totality. With 114 centers active, you and the existence are one synonym. No center was available to you. When the awakening dawns in you, first 21 centers are open in you, then 63, then 84. When you have attained to totality of awakening, then all 114 centers are awakened in you. It is not that when someone comes to me and he needs the 110th sutra, can I say that I can only tell you the 90th or the 84th sutra. With 112 centers active, you and existence are one synonym. The moment you have total capabilities to adopt and accept, I will not need to explain anything much in detail to you. Just a simple look. I do not have to write love poetry to you or collect all the poetries of love. The moment you are in love with me, just a look at you will transmit that energy. There are 114 centers in the body. These psychic centers are known as chakras, a circular form. This I had explained that earlier to you. So only this much. And why they are called circles? Because there are two things. One is the object, which is the center, and the other is its effect. When it disseminates, it spreads. You take a piece of stone, you do not take a circular piece of stone, throw it in the river. Whatsoever be the shape, the rectangle, square, hexagonal, octagon, or pentagon, any shape, you throw it in the tranquil water of the river, the waves arise and they come to the shore in a circular form. That's why when a particular center is open, the energy begins to disseminate. Its effect is always circular. Only this much for this morning. Until we meet again, take care and do have a pleasant day.